Hey, welcome to my garden again. It is July 24th. It's 86 degrees. Humidity is not too bad here in New Jersey. Um, we have a little breeze. We have storms coming tomorrow. Hopefully we get a good rain. Uh, so what I want to do is not give a tour of my entire garden, but someone asked me a question, which was a great question. How do I come up with, the kind of design? Why do I pick certain plants? Why do I put them in certain spots? So I figured I'd pick this area. So from where the flamingos are, this went straight back. This was all grass. All the way down to where that Joe Pyeweed is right there. This was all grass. In the center, I had my dahlias last year in a circle, and the grass was all the way around it. So I started this the first week in April. I dug all the turf out, and that's when it all started. And I always had the idea that my dahlias are the showcase. I left them out of here because the deer love dahlias. So I made it a little bit more challenging that they have to actually go into the garden to be able to go get them. And we get deer. We've had, I believe, the same doe every night for the last 4 nights. And she was all the way up by T-Rex. And actually last night on my front patio. So the idea that I had for this was, one, the showcase my dahlias. I put some down there because I had too many. And then I wanted more of a walk-through garden instead of the grass, and the circle was getting annoying for me because the dahlias were getting too big, and I wanted to put other stuff in. So that's what started this. So yeah, this is only 4 months old. A lot of work went into this and a lot of ideas. So certain things I can give you an idea. Bee balm, this was originally 3 plants that was around my center circle. Bee balm's a great deterrent for deer. They don't like it. They don't eat it, and they actually stay away from it because of the smell of the plant itself. It's not the flower. So I combined them all to build almost like a bee balm hedge to try to keep them out. This one's it's a shorter red one, 3 feet. This is a BU Be Happy. So that's why I have this one. I need to deadhead it because it'll rebloom again. So then what I look for at my local garden center, and I do order stuff from them instead of just picking off the shelf, is contrast of plant. I want very different type of colors, textures, bloom times, bloom colors. I want an area of interest all the time. So, perfect example, the Little Bang Daybreak Coreopsis. These will just keep blooming and blooming and blooming. So I have 1, 2. Now, usually, I always plant in 3s. He didn't have 3, so I got 2. I'll try to get a 3rd one next year. I might put it down there. So that's the other thing. I plant in 3s because it gives you a very different visual guide, and it's usually 2 in one spot and 1 in the other. So that's a help from my wife, who's an artist. The other thing I try to find is contrast of the plant itself. So like a rainbow spurge. So even when it's not in bloom, it's a variegated leaf, and it brings a lot of color, and it will bloom again. But even when it doesn't bloom, it brings a very different contrast to something like a wand flower, with the green and the red in the coloration of the leaves of the plant. Then you have next to it, I have a London Royalist blue bug loss. Much different texture. It's a very coarse leaf, almost like a lamb's ear. It's not as soft. It is a little bristly. I had 3 of these, and one of them died. And I think because I had it next to the old olive pot, and I'm wondering if the olive pot in the sun was getting too hot, and it just baked the plant, or it just wasn't happy. So that's a flower on the bug loss. So it's a blue flower, which is, challenging to find a natural blue flower. So when that blooms with the blue flowers, because it will bloom again, it's budding again already, against the spurge and the wand flower, you have a very vibrant change of color. The other one is like a beard tongue, and these will bloom again ish. I have a lot of these. I have a couple different varieties. They'll bloom again. They'll throw out a couple buds here and there, but even when not in bloom, and this is the Dakota variety, it has these reddish purple leaves and greener in the newer leaves in the base. Again, brings an aspect of contrast, with the catmint, and then you have Heights catmint, the cat's pajamas variety, which I have. These are the smaller ones. This one's bigger because it's actually 2 plants. I combined them when I rearranged all this. So you have height differences. So catmint's very low. I have the beard tongue and the spurge and the wand flowers are all about the same color. So they're all about 2 feet, 2.5, maybe 3. The blue bug loss, which is a little bit shorter. The coreopsis is taller than the catmint. So you have these high-low, this mounding effect. And then I add like a Sweet William, because it's a continual bloomer. I'll add yarrow, because it's a continual bloomer. This is why when yarrow is done and you get the brown head blooms, deadhead them, because it'll just start throwing out new shoots. They all do. Every variety, it'll start throwing out new shoots if you deadhead them. Avon's Geum, which are these, much different leaf configuration, leaf style, than the bug loss, the Sweet William, the salvias. So that's what I look for. I look for this weird concoction and variation. And this Avon's Geum is the Scarlet Tempest. I have another variety. It's a tangerine color. This one's a little darker when it blooms. But that's another plant where you deadhead it, it'll start throwing new shoots out and bloom all season. So that's the idea that I have when I do gardens like this, and I help a lot of people do this. One of my hens and chicks got stolen. I'm betting from the deer. Hope she enjoyed it, because that was my favorite one. That was my scarlet colored one. So then, I look for very whimsical plants too. The coreopsis is a desert coreopsis. I do have 3 of these. I have 1, 2 here, and I usually tell people I try to do 3s. There's always a 3rd one nearby, and it's right over here. So that's the whole idea. And then I have like plants that I love. I'm a big David Austin rose fan. So I have multiple David Austin roses. These are all David Austin roses here. And I have 1, 2, and 3, where the white one is. And like I said, yarrow is a great one. Here's an example. I need to cut these out, and then I'll just throw out brand new ones. That's the strawberry seduction. I try to have fun with my garden. That's really what it is. Sometimes, this is, like I said, 4 months old. I may not like it next year. As it grows in this year, we'll see how it all does and see how the plants like it, because the plants will tell you if they're happy or not. That's the big trick, is if the plant's thriving, they like where they are. You can have little struggles because, bunnies apparently love my butterfly weed. So I've found that the bunnies love butterfly weed, balloon flowers, and my false sunflowers, the Heliopsis false sunflowers. Everything else they're leaving alone. But yeah, it's trial and error. Find a plant that you like. Find a color that you like. Try to find things that bloom at different times. There's no right or wrong. I did a video, people asked me how I really come up with the garden ideas. And it's just, don't be afraid to make a mistake. It's just a plant. If it dies, it's not the end of the world. It's sad, it's frustrating sometimes, but that's the way life is. And then you learn from it, and either don't plant that type of plant again, or plant it somewhere else. So that's what I'll do with this whole area is, the wand flowers loving it. The spurges, I love this area because it's all full sun here. Yarrow loves anything. My tiramisu, this is a Japanese iris. I dug this out from, it was being covered over next to my garage. I dug this out and it's finally starting to come back. It needs a little bit more open area. I have 2 more I need to dig out because they're covered in that center garden area. But you go to your local garden center, try to find things that, it's a personal preference. You have to like the plant. If you think it's ugly, there's no point of buying it. But then try to find color variations. So this little bang Coreopsis against a red bee balm is a great combination because the centers are more burgundy, but the outer petals of the leaves are that bright yellow, almost like a black-eyed Susan. It's a great contrast with the red of the bee balm. That's why I have the blue bug loss, because when those blue flowers come out, it stands out. The peonies are what they are. The peonies are great. They're early spring. So when basically everything's still dormant around here, some things will be coming up. I have the peonies here, peonies there. The lilacs will start coming out. I have peonies all through here. So there's my really early spring. And then it just works your way through the season. Find things that, don't just bloom in the spring or in the summer. Find continual bloomers like a Sweet William. The one Sweet William that was doing fine, that's a combination of someone eating it and someone stepping on it because they saw hoof prints next to that one. So I may have to replace that with something else. But yeah, you just find oddities, like Sweet William back there, the pink and white. But you look for contrast. Contrast is a big thing. Leaf color, leaf style. The leaf style on this, rainbow spurge, is so different to the Adams GM. It's a completely different leaf, and it stands out in a visual aspect when people walk through my gardens, because it doesn't look all the same. Salvia, whatever color salvia it is, whether it's white, whether it's blue, whether it's purple, whether it's red, salvia looks like salvia. That's it. And if you have a lot of salvia, which I do, I have one here, that was a freebie. That one grew off of that. And, it all looks the same. It's boring. Contrast of heights, all my milkweed. This is a great plant. This is a fall bloomer. So this thing doesn't really start getting going until now. It starts really beefing out in the summer. And it's a willow leaf sunflower. And it gets about 4 or 5 feet, and it just explodes with these blooms in September, October. So that's the best way I can describe it, is, find very different plants and match them together, either by leaf color, texture, leaf style, bloom color, because when stuff's not in bloom, and all your plants look the same, it's boring. And it's boring not only because all the leaves look the same, but there's nothing in bloom. So trying to find something that continually blooms, like yarrow, just deadheaded, butterfly weed, it continually blooms, and seed pods profusely. I'm gonna sneak through here. Here's another butterfly weed in the seed pods. My black-eyed Susans, this is a pink snowberry. My hibiscus is blooming. It has been blooming. I have another one over there that's got dozens of buds on it, so that's gonna be awesome. But yeah, this one's got a whole bunch of buds on it. And I just jammed this in here. Everyone's, said to me, oh, it needs more space, it will never bloom, blah, blah, blah. I've heard it all. I've heard every book answer people have told me for decades. For my English gardens I had in my previous house, that were, 5.5 acres of English gardens, that everyone said everything's gonna die. And to this, where things won't grow, things will die out, you'll choke things out, and if I do, I'll move it. If it dies, oh well, I learned my lesson. But I'm going to push the envelope and find ways to be more creative, more flexible, and not just live in a world of structured, suburban gardens, because they're all boring. Another example, coneflowers next to a sage. Come on, tell me that doesn't, really pop with color. The bluish purple and the traditional echinacea color. And then now, end of July, turtle heads. I have a bunch of them. These are all between the phlox I have here and the phlox on the other side I have white. These are all turtle heads, and these will just explode when they come out. And that's the trick, is find things that are hugely in contrast. That's what my garden's about. Crepe myrtle. This is in the middle of my garden. This is a dwarf variety, and it'll just keep blooming. It's a great plant. It only gets about 7 feet tall, 6-7 feet tall. It's a little over my head, and I'm 6'4". Look for Joe Pyeweed, the gateway Joe Pyeweed. That's 8 feet tall. Find something that's very odd. and different. And don't be afraid to experiment. Don't be, like I said, don't be afraid to fail. You know, if I didn't try all this stuff, I wouldn't learn anything. You know, here's another crepe myrtle. This is a traditional. This will be, I put this in last year. This will be a 15 footer. You know, so this will be a big boy when it grows up. You know, and I'll readjust. So when this gets bigger, I'll readjust the garden to fit it. And I won't do crepe murder on the plant, which most people do. They just butcher it. So that's it. You know, that's my garden. That's my ideas. You know, this time of year, I'm struggling with the deer because they're eating my Montauk daisies. She's hungry. So I got to figure out how to feed her without losing my plants. But you know, she eats my Montauks now. That's fine. They won't bloom until you know late September anyhow. But yep, that's it. You know, my dahlias are coming in. This will look beautiful in a couple weeks when they come in all the way, and a lot of other plants start reblooming again. Usually August time frame. So there's a goldfinch that came flying in. The female goldfinch. I see her on the sage back there. But that's what this is all for too. I enjoy it. My family enjoys it. My friends enjoy it. But you know, if the deer eat it, fine. But the birds love it. The pollinators love it. There were multiple monarchs out here today. You know, I'll start going through some different areas of my garden because I also was asked about the variety names, so you could try to either order them or find them. I'm big on that if you haven't figured out, which is why I have signs on all my plants. So when people come over and take a tour, they can just walk through and oh, that's this or that's that, and you know, they learn as they walk through my garden. So you know, and I learn every day as well. That I'm not getting any younger, and you know, trying to get up and down, it gets harder and harder. So like my videos, subscribe. If you have any comments, I love responding and answering questions. Majority of the questions that I get are great. And I will answer as quickly as I can, and I'll answer them as truthfully as possible. I've heard it all in the garden communities, the things to do and things not to do, and even my advice. What works for you may not. What works for me may not work for you. You're in a different zone. You have a different variety of plant. You have different soils. You do different ways of fertilizing or not fertilizing. I did want to correct myself, and so I did a video of Joe Pyeweed. That I had the Baby Joe and the Gateway. Those are the two varieties. And I was thinking to myself when I did the video, I'm like, that's not right. And I couldn't remember where I put it. And this is it. So most Joe Pyeweed, the leaves are a little bit darker green. The blooms are more, I wouldn't say purple, but more purple-ish. So this is the third Joe Pyeweed I have. This is a Phantom. This is more of a brighter pink, and they are shorter. So this is like a 5-footer. But yeah, these are a little more pink. But I wanted to add that because I was out here the other day and I realized that's where it was. And there is another variety of Joe Pyeweed I haven't tried it yet. It's a Little Joe. Those are 2 to 3 feet tall. And I may try to grab a couple of those by the end of the season. And the problem is I don't know where I put them. So, but my gladiolus are still pumping out. You just deadhead them. They'll throw new shoots out. They'll bloom through August for the most part. But yeah, that's my garden. That's my ideas of how to build this. So thanks for watching.